welcome to another Flipping Tables. My name is Sean Evans.
And I'm Tico.
And today we're bringing you a new game. This is actually a Kickstarter preview that we have the opportunity to play. It is a game called Shaka Shredders Rivals. This game is coming to Kickstarter very, very soon. And it is the first swap top card game. And it's patent pending, brand new just for this game. And what that means is each of the cards, you can actually remove the tops and the bottoms of these cards. They are magnetic. And it's so cool because, so there's three parts to the cards. There's the bottom half of the card,
yeah.
The base of the card. There is the bottom half of the card that has different abilities on it. And then there's the character, essentially, with your power. In this, and that goes on the top. And during gameplay, you can swap one character out for another. So if I pull out Gunta, for example, I can take Shreddzilla, swap him off this card, and then throw this guy over here. Yeah. It's a really neat concept for these cards. They're very thick cards as well. These are solid,
they've got some heft,
magnetic cards. Now the ones we're using are the version 1 cards that were sent out to reviewers, and they're actually very, very tough magnet. They're very hard to,
I believe they said over magnetized.
They're over magnetized. So they actually gave us these sheets to put their protectors,
the
sleeves to put them in, and that makes it a lot easier to shuffle. Now the release version of this, once it hits Kickstarter, once it's released to Kickstarter backers, it's going to be a lot lighter, magnetic, so you'll be able to shuffle them like we can here with the sleeves on. You'll be able to do that without the sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, during gameplay, to do your swapping, you'll have to pull them in and out of the sleeves in order to be able to do it. But it's pretty easy. Just push up from the bottom and it slides off. It's got an interesting grip with the magnets as well, whereas it's not like the whole thing. It's got magnetic points, so it does slide off a little bit easier than you'd think it would.
Yeah, it slides off neat, but it also, they've magnetized it in such a way that it actually clicks.
Yeah,
it clicks into place, right? You can actually hear that a little bit as it's clicking, so it always clicks into the right place. You're not just, it's not going to be off on this. You can't actually put it on sideways either, right? It doesn't stick. It only sticks in the proper way, and it clicks into place. So that's actually really neat, really neat design. And I mean, this is a new technology they developed. I mean, I'm sure there's other technologies, other games that could use this. The release one is called Shaka Shredders Rivals. Now we found. And they've admitted this, that the current instructions that we had are a little bit hard to understand.
Yeah.
They are rewriting those instructions for the release. So once it hits Kickstarter next month, it's going to be a lot better.
It's going to be smoother. It took us a few times reading through to clarify things. Once you get into it and you understand the game itself, though, it does move pretty quickly.
Yes. The basic idea of this is you are rival extreme sports teams. So in this case, I've got the surfers, and you've got the skaters, and it's my team performing for audiences, essentially, and trying to gain cheer. And cheer is the winning value in this game. The more cheer you have, or once you hit 20 cheer, you win the game. And you gain cheer by playing out cards that have the word trick on it.
Yeah.
So probably see it better outside the package here. So the word trick means that this guy here, Ripster, he is... thank you.
Performer.
A performer.
A performer.
A performer. So I would play him down on the table as a performer. And if you want to pull out a performer out of your deck...
Sure. Let's go with Dr. Coconut.
So I could play Ripster on the table, and you would play... level 3. Thanks, Tico.
Listen, it's the first one I found.
So... I put mine back in the package. You put yours, took it out. So
it shows better.
So if I decided to challenge Tico's team, I can challenge with Ripster, and this value 1 up in the corner is his star power. It would go up against, if you decided to defend or take the challenge, you would then defend with your 3. I would then, because I lose, I would be embarrassed and I'd be off the table.
Be discarded.
and would go into what they call the locker room, which is the discard pile. But the neat thing about this game is you want a discard pile, because other cards in this are called a dis, right? It is a discard. But a discard uses the discards.
Yeah.
Anyway, a discard means you can actually, you take the value or the wording on the bottom, and you embarrass target performer with less. What's this one again? I'm trying to remember all the attitude.
Attitude.
It's
correct.
attitude with less attitude. So if his card has less attitude than mine, which is the black value in the bottom, then I can embarrass him, and that would take him into his discard. But in order to use a discard, you must pay the energize cost. The energize cost is by taking that number of cards. In this case, on this card, it's 3. By taking 3 cards from your discard pile or the locker room and putting them back to the bottom of your deck. They go back into play, but at the bottom of the deck. So you do want to burn cards, which puts them in your locker room. Take them from the top to the bottom. During play, as you swap cards, there is an action that you take on each of the cards. On Brobell here, if I decide I want to swap him with someone else, I must do this action. In this particular case, my disses require 1 less energize, so I could place him on a discard, and now I get that action. If it said to burn cards when I swap, then I get to burn cards.
Burning is moving your card into the discard pile.
Into the discard pile, then you do that. It sounds like a complicated game, but once we got into it and really understood the mechanics, it was very, very simple to play. And I enjoyed it to a point, Tico.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what it was, what I found with this. And this, again, the balancing I think is going to be different by the time it hits Kickstarter, because they are working on the wording of some cards. They're working on the instruction manual to make it clearer. But I'm finding as we played, I found that I used like 1 dis during the entire game. And most of the game was spent challenging with players, rotating the card to, as you rotate, you get different abilities. As you're trying to get, on a trick card, you want to get combos. And you can only get the combo by basically challenging 3 times with the proper ability, whether it's flip or grab or spin.
Right.
And these are all things you'll learn as you play the game. But I found we were both doing more challenges just to get points than using any other kind of card.
Right, and you will find too, like I found I had if you have a bad draw up in your hand, I had a hand of entirely discards.
Yes.
All of my cards were discards, which couldn't really, they
You
didn't
can't
really
do
have any
anything.
value. I didn't have a discard pile, so all I had in my hand, so I really couldn't play anything
Right.
each time. So it did sort of lead to me getting my butt kicked pretty badly. That being said, I can see where they're I can see how it does build, and it is actually really a lot of fun to sort of try to get all of the cards out there if you get the right hand.
The only thing that I think they need to add to this game are some countdown dice. 20-sided countdown dice is what we used. I just pulled these from Magic the Gathering countdown dice. Because the game doesn't come with it, and you have to track how many cheer you get up to 20, but there's no tracker in the game.
Right.
So I had to go grab a few countdown dice. Not everybody's going to have 20-sided countdown dice.
I mean, you can do a pen and paper, but it really, if you're grabbing a pen and paper, it really does sort of take you out of the theme of the game and stuff like that. You really want to have some sort of a score thing.
There's got to be some way to score. I think adding a couple of countdown dice in there would be nice, or you suggested even another magnetic card with 1 to 20 with a little score point.
A little magnetic score.
Little magnetic disc that you move through. 1 to 20 would be a nice way. It would go along with the magnetics, because they do advertise this as you can take this game anywhere. Take it to the beach. Yep. Because they're waterproof. These are completely waterproof
it's all magnetic,
cards.
Waterproof. You can stick these on your fridge to keep your homework up there if you really need to.
Perfect. So that is Shaka Shredders. I kind of like it. I would be interested to see the final product.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about this game, actually, next month we're going to speak to the developers of this game. We're going to get a little bit behind the scenes, talk about what went behind the making of this game and where this swap top technology came from, because it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I really want to see what other sets they're going to come out, because this set is the Grotto Goons versus the Tiki Tech Lasers. I want to see what other sports are represented in different packs as well, because the art is fantastic on these things. It's cute little anamorphic creatures. I've got Dr. Coconut in here.
Yeah, you see, yours are all like...
These are the skaters.
The skaters, but they're all like, what, forest creatures?
They're all jungle
creatures, whereas mine are all sea creatures, or, creatures in the water. Because these are the surfers, obviously. Sharks and lobsters and turtles, and we got a seal. The artwork is actually absolutely fantastic in these cards. I think the idea is brilliant with the hot swap or the swap top cards. It is absolutely brilliant idea.
Yeah.
The game is, I hope it's easier to learn once they release it, but it's coming to Kickstarter September 15th. Check it out. Shaka Shredders Rivals. It's a fun game. I think you may enjoy it if you like sort of TCG card games.
Deck building.
Yeah, deck building. Yep. Well, not deck building. It's more like a trading card, like Magic type.
Physically building, where you're placing pieces.
You're physically building it, sure. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for Shaka Shredders Rivals. Be sure to check out the interview next month when we talk to the developers. Shaka Shredders. Shakana.
Senior Stripe. Harahoof.